Hey, it's Stokely from Sauce Ondulé. So I think I pronounced it right today. But what I'm going to talk about is what's the big deal about having a vegan or plant-based product. People are being more conscientious or conscious about how animals are treated. You know, there's a big movement towards being vegan. A big movement towards caring about the animals and not being a speciesist. Me personally, I'm an omnivore. For the most part, I lean towards, I lean towards pescatarian, really, or I don't know, like a vegetarian, like a traditional vegetarian. I still eat eggs and fish, but I do feel guilty every time I eat some chicken or beef. I'm not really suggesting or recommending my line of dieting to anyone else. But in other podcasts, I talk about taking care of your liver and your pancreas. And meats are pretty much taxing on your body, but that doesn't have anything to do with cruelty-free cosmetics or vegan cosmetics. Now, cruelty-free just means that it wasn't tested on animals. Or your finished product wasn't. It's really your finished product wasn't tested on animals, because every component has been tested on animals at some point in history during its development. When you look at the material safety data sheets, the MSDS sheets, it tells you what if an oil or a component or a solution or a chemical is an eye irritant, a skin irritant, corrosive, all these things. All these tests were done maybe years ago, maybe decades ago, but every product has been at some point tested on animals, maybe even on human beings, but cruelty-free just means that the finished product was not tested on animals. Now, my product wasn't tested on animals. I tested it on humans. I tested it out on my friends and my family members. So when it comes to the case of cruelty, they all volunteered. I mean, initially I sent them all a disclaimer and a video asking them, to give me their feedback on a weekly basis or a 2-week basis. I forget what it was. So, so it's taken 2 years, but it's come a long way. So I don't test on animals. I don't test my product on animals. I only tested it on humans, people that I knew, and especially on myself. Now, vegan ingredients. Now, when it comes to a pomade when it comes to pomades, you can get pomades with waxes from bees, and if you use beeswax, you're no longer vegan, because that's a animal byproduct. Those bees had to work for that. Or if you have something they call tallow, which is fat from sheep, from what I understand, it's fat from sheep, then that's not a vegan. That's not a vegan wax, or they used to get wax from candles used to be made from whales at one point, so I don't think we don't get our candles from whales anymore. I don't believe so. But it's really just a wax ingredient when it comes to a pomade that's typically an animal byproduct. But anyone who is offering a vegan pomade either has the ingredient I use, which is candelilla, or they have carnauba wax, or they have one of the other non-plant-based synthesized wax. I think one may be called casein. I'm not sure of that word, but there are other non-plant-based, non-animal byproduct waxes that are available, and that's really what sets it as a vegan product. The fact that I don't use a wax that comes from any animal, and I don't use any ingredient that comes from an animal, and it's cruelty free because it was never the finished product was never tested on animals, nor did I conduct any testing on animals, nor was my product used on any animals, right? Um, that's really about it. That's what plant based and all that is all about. Now, organic, I can't make the claim of organic. I have almost, I would say, about 20 ingredients or more, almost 30 ingredients, and some maybe from genetically modified crops. Um, so I can't say organic. Um, I say plant based because the majority of it are plant extract. But like I told you before, I mentioned in a previous podcast, I have ingredients that are elements, you know, that are taken from the earth, like sulfur and zinc oxide. And then I have one synthesized ingredient that's not totally not plant based, which is uh, taurine. Um, so I can only say plant based. I can't say, like plant, totally plants or something like that. And most people say plant based. That means it's mostly plants. Now, um, organic, I can't say that. Like I said, some of the ingredients may have been genetically modified, like the lecithin that was made from soybeans. I'm not sure if those soybeans were organic. Um, I know a lot of my oils are organic, like the castor oil and the sunflower seed oil and stuff like that. Those are uh, yeah, those are all organic. The essential oils, I don't know if those are organic. Rosemary, tea tree, peppermint, sandalwood. I'm pretty sure the sandalwood is definitely organic. I'm pretty sure the sandalwood is organic. A sandalwood tree is a big old tree. And anyhow, um, um, organic just means that, and organic is a very weird word. Organic and non-GMO are two different things. Non-GMO means it doesn't come from a genetically modified seed or a genetically modified organism. This is a heirloom plant that's been on Earth for the past thousands of years, probably. If a plant's been around with the same genetic makeup for thousands of years, then it's not genetically modified. But if it's just been synthesized in a lab and they gene spliced it and turned it into this or that, like they've done with tomatoes, and they've spliced, I think, human DNA into tomatoes, that's a genetically modified organism. Now, organic just means that pesticides weren't used um, for a certain time before the crop was harvested. So they stopped administering pesticides at a certain time. Let's say weeks. Let's say a month before. Don't quote me on this duration, but let's say they don't add any pesticides to the crops a month before it's going to be harvested. That basically makes it organic. And non-GMO means the DNA of the crops were not synthesized, let's say probably in the last 100 years. This plant is hundreds of years old, or this plant's DNA is hundreds of years old, and has been around for maybe even thousands of years, um, unadulterated or unaltered by human beings. Um, so that's really what all these little things at the bottom of the container mean. Um, no phthalates and no petrolatinum. Petrolatinum and petroleum, those are all from oils. You'll find that in um, Murray's, Murray's, I guess is a pomade, right? Um, that's primarily petrolatinum or petroleum based, which is like Vaseline. It's just a much harder. Just a much harder version of Vaseline, basically. So I don't use any petrolatinum or petroleum. And phthalates are something that are basically hormone mimickers, and they're placed in cosmetics. Um, I forgot exactly, as a preservative. They may be in there as a preservative, but they basically don't break down, and they also um, have the potential of being hormone mimickers. So, like phthalates are, and they could cause weight gain, stuff like that, because I believe phthalates are in lip gloss. And if you look up, not many people even wear lip gloss anymore. I mean, not a lot of women. I mean, I don't go to high school or college anymore. I'm an old guy. So I don't know if anybody's wearing lip gloss anymore, because when I was in high school, um, all the girls were wearing lip gloss. But I don't know anymore. So if they're, lip gloss has been associated with obesity and weight gain and stuff like that. So phthalates are no good, and that's due to the hormones that it's putting into the body. But that's really it. That's it for the most part. What was I originally talking about? So my original statement, or my original discussion that I have drifted from, is that um, you know the product is cruelty free, plant based, phthalate free, petroleum free. But mostly I wanted to talk about the cruelty free part. It hasn't been tested on animals. Um, I mean, it's been tested on humans, and humans are basically animals. So maybe you could say it has, but not in the conventional sense of what an animal is. That's my rant.